Her smile is never accidental. It is a carefully crafted signal, calibrated with precision, like the slow unlocking of a treasure chest only for those who know the key. When you think she might hesitate or show uncertainty, understand this: she is not lost. She is analyzing you. Not for your charm or your appearance, but for fractures, weaknesses, and the cracks that betray instability. Women carry a deep-rooted internal algorithm, a silent metric for power that plays out in milliseconds, far beyond conscious thought, hidden in evolutionary wiring. This system evaluates every micro-expression, tone shift, and body language cue. To her, the conversation you think is casual is actually a high-stakes examination. Her glance away? Not distraction, but assessment. Her teasing remark? A probing challenge disguised in playfulness. In her mind, the central question is clear and unforgiving: can this man command without demanding? This is the threshold of attraction, the gateway where fascination begins and obsession quietly takes root. At Stoic Loading, we explore this threshold deeply because understanding it rewires your whole approach to presence and interaction. Men who mistake her behavior for mood swings or emotional inconsistency miss the silent logic she employs. She hunts for unshakable authority. To her, instability signals risk and uncertainty, lowering survival odds. But when she encounters steadiness, a calm, unmovable presence, that ancient detector flips from caution to intrigue. Fascination blooms. Obsession follows. You must learn to embody this stillness. Picture the scene: a quiet cafe, the soft murmur of conversation floating in the background. You sit across from her, the air charged with unspoken challenges. Her eyes flicker briefly toward a waiter passing by, then snap back with a faint, almost imperceptible smirk. She leans in, voice casual but with razor-sharp intent. "So, what exactly do you do?" Most men hear curiosity, a simple question. But at Stoic Loading, we know better. This question is a power audit disguised as small talk. It's not about your profession or achievements, it's about your internal self-concept. It's a mate value probe designed to locate your place in an unspoken hierarchy. The smirk she wears is a signal: she is only half serious about your words but deadly serious about the meaning behind them. She watches for how you respond under subtle pressure. If you flinch, scramble for validation, or try to impress, you fail. It's not what you say, but how you carry your identity through your answer that matters. Most men, unaware, fall into the trap of performance. They begin an eager recital of titles, promotions, and accomplishments, unknowingly relinquishing frame control. Suddenly, she becomes the examiner and you the candidate. This psychological collapse drains attraction instantly. Now imagine the alternative. The man with unshakable presence. When asked, "What do you do?" he smiles faintly, as if the question is a casual, almost trivial interruption rather than an interrogation. He replies simply, "I do what I want." A beat passes, the silence stretching like a taut wire, before he adds smoothly, "Right now, I'm building things I actually care about." There's no rush to explain, no nervous filler words, no desperate attempt to impress. The power lies in what he doesn't say as much as what he does. He signals that his value is self-evident and not subject to external approval. This is the performance of effortless authority, a concept Machiavelli would admire, where withholding justification becomes the proof of status. This response triggers a profound shift in her perception. The smirk of playful challenge morphs into curiosity. Suddenly, the power dynamic flips. You are no longer the candidate but the sovereign, seated on his throne, inviting her into your realm on your terms. She presses further, but the energy has changed. Her mental hierarchy reorganizes, positioning you as an enigma rather than an open book. Over time, this moment becomes a pivotal reference in her mind, a marker that you never chased validation, that you hold your frame with quiet certainty. This seeds a fascination loop that dulls her interest in others. Now consider the behavioral test. You're together at a lively social event, a rooftop gathering under a dusk sky. Music hums in the background, conversations ebb and flow like tides. She spots a man she knows across the room and excuses herself with a light touch on your arm. You watch as she leans in, smiles, and laughs, briefly brushing his arm. But then she glances back at you, not to check, but to measure. This is a nonverbal probe into your emotional stability, your ability to maintain sovereignty under distraction. It's a test for possessive fragility. Does your internal frame crumble when her attention shifts? Many men falter here. Even those confident in solitude suddenly stiffen, their body language betraying anxiety as they keep her in their peripheral vision. When she returns, they mask insecurity with humor or withdrawal. Psychologically, this signals dependence on her constant focus, a dangerous sign of emotional volatility. She perceives this as weakness, a man who folds under mild social stress, not the stable protector she unconsciously seeks. This reaction flips the hierarchy, placing her above you as the caretaker of your emotional state. The powerful response is subtle but unmistakable. When she leaves your side, you do not follow her gaze. Instead, you turn fully toward the people around you, engaging with genuine interest and easy confidence. You listen intently, ask thoughtful questions, and share stories with dry humor and measured pacing. You are not competing for her attention, you are cultivating your own social gravity. When she returns, you meet her eyes with warmth and composure as if nothing has shifted. This behavior communicates a profound truth: her presence is valued but not oxygen. Your stability is your own. At Stoic loading, we call this the refusal to contest small ground, the hallmark of true rulers. They never panic over temporary distractions because they understand their reign is permanent. This projects abundance, signaling that your value does not hinge on one person's attention. This emotional sovereignty deeply reassures her primal instincts. Over time, this imprint becomes a benchmark for your strength, a quiet anchor she returns to in her mind, elevating you above others who flinch or falter. In the quiet intimacy of private conversation, subtle power tests take on a new form. Imagine sitting together after a late dinner, soft music playing in the background. She shifts slightly, studying you with a blend of curiosity and mischief before dropping a seemingly simple line. "You know, I can't quite figure you out." At first glance, this sounds like a compliment, maybe even an invitation to open up. But at Stoic loading, we recognize this as a calibrated psychological probe. It's not a request for transparency, it's a test of your boundaries, a measurement of how much control you exert over your self-disclosure. Many men fall prey here. They rush to explain themselves, to dismantle the mystery with stories and confessions, eager for approval. This reaction, though well-intentioned, signals porous identity boundaries. When you reveal too much too soon, you hand over control of your narrative, diminishing your magnetic aura. True power lies in controlled opacity, maintaining layers of depth and unpredictability that keep her intrigued. Mystery becomes a form of sovereignty, a gravitational pull that she unconsciously chases. Responding to her "I can't figure you out" with calm acceptance is a potent display of inner strength. A slight, knowing smile and a simple, "good," acknowledges the statement without defensiveness. Then, gently shift the focus back onto her with a thoughtful question. This does two things at once: it validates the mystery she senses while redirecting attention away from your own narrative, encouraging her to reveal herself instead. This subtle dance is the essence of Stoic presence: you value your inner world enough to protect it, and you invite intimacy on your own terms. At Stoic loading, we emphasize that mystery isn't manipulation but a reflection of self-respect and emotional abundance. It suggests you've mastered the art of pacing, revealing parts of yourself only when it's strategically advantageous. This reserve challenges her subconscious assumptions, fueling deeper curiosity and investment. Over time, this dynamic builds a powerful attraction curve where intrigue deepens into fascination and, ultimately, devotion. Public attention is another battlefield for masculine presence. Picture a friend's dinner party, a long table bustling with laughter and shifting conversations. She starts engaged beside you, then turns to a lively group across the room. Laughter grows, eyes turn toward the new focal point. This moment tests your ability to hold your own presence without demanding the spotlight back. Will you fade, retreating into silence and invisibility, or will you maintain your orbit with quiet confidence? Many men stumble here, retreating to their drinks or phones, or desperately trying to reclaim her attention with jokes or whispers. This insecurity signals dependence on her focus to feel relevant, an immediate status drop in her eyes. Social dominance requires competence and resilience in complex environments. Fading when not directly engaged reveals a situational, fragile relevance. True masculine power is durable, it shines without constant reinforcement. The powerful response is to engage naturally with others around you, cultivating your own micro-community. Listen actively, ask insightful questions, and share stories with measured humor and calm pacing. You do not compete with her group, you build your own gravitational pull. This is Machiavelli's principle of indirect dominance, power without demand. Your presence speaks louder than words, the crown is evident, even when not claimed. At Stoic Loading, this is a key lesson: abundance isn't just about romantic options, but social resources and alliances. By demonstrating you can thrive independently of any one person's attention, you reassure her primal instincts of your stability. This shift increases your value in her mind, deepening attraction rooted in respect and admiration. You become a force in the social sphere, a man whose light doesn't dim even when momentarily sidelined. Finally, ideological challenges are the ultimate tests of masculine frame. Imagine a late-night conversation, intimate and charged. She leans forward, eyes bright with challenge. I don't get how you can believe that. Whether politics, morality, or personal values, this is a high-stakes probe into the fortress of your convictions. Women seek partners with stable internal compasses, anchors in chaotic seas. Flexibility is valued, but unyielding backbone is essential. Too many men fold here, softening their beliefs or conceding to avoid conflict. This signals malleability and a fragile identity. At Stoic Loading, we teach that principled strength means standing firm without alienation, displaying openness while holding your ground. This is the display of intellectual and moral sovereignty. It sends a clear signal: your values are not negotiable, your identity not a house of cards. Stoic Loading, the invisible power behind magnetic presence. When confronted with ideological challenge, your strength isn't just in the content of your beliefs but in the way you embody them. At Stoic Loading, we understand that a man who calmly reaffirms his core values communicates unwavering stability. You listen fully, nod thoughtfully, then respond with quiet confidence. I see where you're coming from, but this is what I believe because it's the lens through which I make sense of the world, and I stand by it. This combination of openness and immovability signals a leader who protects the shared worldview. This isn't about rigid dogma, but principled flexibility, a balance that commands respect. Your firm convictions become a fortress that she instinctively trusts to shield the relationship from external chaos. This anchoring effect builds a profound emotional safety that few men realize is the foundation of lasting attraction. The evolution of attraction at this level moves beyond surface charisma or social dominance. It enters the realm of shared meaning and intellectual resonance. At Stoic Loading, we see that when a man stands firm with integrity, he transcends the transient nature of physical allure. His presence becomes a beacon of certainty in an uncertain world. This profound stability ignites a blend of admiration, respect, and deep-seated loyalty in her psyche. Over time, this dynamic cultivates a relationship grounded in mutual strength rather than dependency. She no longer seeks to test or challenge your boundaries because she recognizes the unshakable foundation beneath them. This shift deepens emotional intimacy, transforming attraction into a powerful, abiding connection. Power in romantic dynamics is multifaceted. It isn't only about how you respond in social settings or intimate conversations, it's about the totality of your self-mastery. Stoic Loading teaches that emotional sovereignty means you are the author of your own narrative, regardless of external validation or circumstance. This internal authority manifests in subtle but unmistakable ways: calmness under pressure, measured speech, deliberate action. Such presence influences every interaction. Women sense when a man's confidence is genuine versus performative. They detect when vulnerability is authentic or a bid for sympathy. Through disciplined self-mastery, you cultivate an aura of effortless authority that draws her in naturally, without needing to chase or perform. Another critical facet of this magnetic presence is your ability to balance intensity with ease. Too often, men mistake intensity for power, flooding conversations with heavy emotions or over-explaining to prove their worth. At Stoic Loading, we emphasize the power of pacing and silence. Allowing moments to breathe, withholding certain truths, and responding with calm humor all deepen attraction. This controlled energy signals emotional abundance and security. It reassures her subconscious that you are unshakable, not easily rattled by social or emotional currents. In contrast, frantic attempts to fill silence or overshare undermine your frame, making you appear needy or unstable. The strongest men are those who can hold their center while inviting others into their world on their terms. Ultimately, the path to becoming a man of magnetic presence is a journey inward. At Stoic Loading, we advocate rigorous self-examination and consistent growth. True power flows from a deep understanding of your values, emotions, and boundaries, paired with the courage to live authentically. It is this synthesis of Stoic philosophy and modern social dynamics that creates a presence impossible to ignore. Women aren't just attracted to status or charm, they are drawn to men who embody calm strength, principled leadership, and unshakable self-worth. By mastering these elements, you cross the threshold from being merely interesting to becoming indispensable. Your presence becomes a lodestone of fascination and respect, a force that shapes not only her world but your own.